So firstly, we'll let our General Secretary Fenjiao to introduce a little bit about Cheng. Then Dr. Cheng will give his speech.
Okay. So first of all, we'll introduce something about Dr. Cheng. Dr. Cheng is assistant professor of School of Computing, Columbus University, and he received his second PhD in computing science with a focus on cybersecurity from Virginia Tech in 2018, and his first PhD with a focus on wireless networking from Beijing University of Post and Telecommunications, China in 2012. And during the period from 2012 to 2015, he worked as a research fellowship at Singapore University of Technology and Design, and then a research scientist at A-Star Institute for Infocom Research, Singapore. So from 2009 to 2011, Dr. Cheng was a research assistant at Hong Kong Polytechnic University and the University of Texas at Arlington, respectively. Also, Dr. Cheng received the Best Paper Award from IEEE Wireless Communication and Networking Conference in 2013 and the Erasmus Mundus Scholar Award in 2014 and the Pratt Fellowship at Virginia Tech in 2017. So now let's welcome Dr. Cheng.
Thanks for the introduction. This is Cheng from School of Computing. Thanks for the invitation from Jimmy. I'm very glad to be here to share with you about my research and also explore possible collaboration opportunity with you. Today I will talk about security in automotive cyber-physical system. First, this is an outline of my talk. First, I will talk about some of my ongoing work at Cheng, and then I will have a brief literature survey about security in automotive cyber-physical system. And lastly, I will talk about some of my work that can be applied to automotive CPS. So basically, my current focus is on cybersecurity, but before 2014, my research was not nothing related to cybersecurity. At that time, I did a lot of work on in wireless sensor networks, wireless analog network, mobile sensing. Mobile sensing is we use a mobile phone. Mobile phone comes with a lot of sensors. We use those sensors to to design those pervasive applications, for example, indoor localization. In 2014, I happened to got a job offer from this research institute in Singapore, in a security team, network security team. That's why I started working in network security, and it was that time I realized that cybersecurity is so broad and it's an interesting research area. And also it's a promising research area, and I decided at that time I realized that I need to learn more about cybersecurity. It's too broad, and then I decided to pursue another PhD at Virginia Tech. This is not good, definitely. It takes a long time. It's takes a time and a lot of things. But it's rewarding. After 3 years, I got a chance to work here at Cheng and continue my research in cybersecurity area. But my current focus is on the software security, software system security. It's actually different from network security. So next, I'm going to talk about some ongoing work at Cheng. I did some CPS security work when I was at Virginia Tech. This is some of the applications. It's about the program anomaly detection. Program anomaly detection. Basically, this is an old topic. Basically, we detect the anomalous program behavior. Whatever the program. Definitely, it can be applied to CPS. In CPS, we have different controllers. We have control programs. Here, the idea is that in CPS, the CPS control program has a unique feature. It's event-driven. The program is event-driven. That means the program takes sensor input, and then make control decision to, like change the physical parameter. And then form a control loop. So in this work, I basically consider the event-driven feature of the control program, and then propose a so-called example-based program on the detection framework that can be applied to different applications, CPS application scenarios, including the automotive CPS. So in the third part, I will talk about the details about this work and some future work following this one. We also do a lot of work on IoT security. Anyone can tell me, what's the difference between CPS or an IoT? Well, some people think, they are same. Any difference about IoT and security and CPS? So, these are very popular, words nowadays, like.
So there is a feedback control loop.
Yeah, exactly. Definitely IoT and CPS have like a large overlap, but most of the cases they have a different emphasis. Like IoT emphasizes the connectivity, from the name Internet of Things. It emphasizes the connectivity of things, but CPS emphasizes the interaction between physical and the cyber. It emphasizes cyber-physical interaction, and it also emphasizes the feedback loop, from cyber to physical and from physical to cyber. Yeah, this is probably the slight difference between IoT and CPS. But for the IoT security, my research focuses on the smart home IoT. For example, this is all those three are ongoing work. The first one is about the physical interaction control in IoT. So what's a physical interaction? Think about it. We have two applications in a smart home. Basically, to construct, to build a smart home, we need first buy some IoT devices, and then, those, from different companies, for example, Samsung Smart Things, and then, user install applications like, on our mobile phone. We can install those applications in smart home. So, different applications, they may have some kind of a physical interaction. For example, we have a heater control app. So basically, it controls the heater. Turning on the heater, turning off the heater, at a specific time. And the user, install another app called temperature alert app. So that means, if the temperature is higher than a threshold, the window will be opened. So, but these two apps may have some interaction because of the physical channel. Yeah, in IoT or in CPS, they have a cyber-physical interaction. This is kind of a physical interaction. So an app may have unexpected interaction. So at the time, the user may not realize this. May not realize, there exists some unexpected interaction between those apps. So for example, in this case, in this example, the user may not realize, after some time the window will be opened. So the window is opened, and this event, this event may have some safety problem. The burglar may break in, whatever. So in this work, we try to manage, we try to control those unexpected physical interaction between apps. This is the idea of this work. The second work is about privacy leakage in smart home. Definitely, this is a easy topic. So everyone straightforward topic. Anyone can consider. There exists some privacy leakage in smart home because those IoT devices, the hubs, generate wireless traffic. So eavesdropper inside of the smart home can sniff, can capture those wireless traffic, and those traffic may contain some privacy information. So eavesdropper can easily infer the daily activities of the smart home user. So in this work, we address the privacy leakage issue. The third work, again, it's about anomaly detection. So we call it IoT intrusion detection. So this is a wireless camera. Have you heard of the IoT attack called Mirai? riot attack. Basically, attacker compromise numerous various cameras and use those cameras to launch DOS attack to attack the victim server. So the reason because those various camera, those IoT devices, they usually have a weak password. So the default password like the admin, root, whatever. So it's very easy to compromise, to break into those systems. And and they're running Linux. So basically they have an operating system. They can set packets outside, so they can be used as a bot, to form an alternate to attack victim servers. And we in this project we use set channel, so-called set channel, power set channel, to detect any intrusion. So if a program, if an IoT device running some malicious command or malicious program, it has some correlation with the voltage fluctuation. So in IoT or in CPS we have a different set channels. For example, there is a paper using exploiting the noise as a set channel for anomaly detection. In CPS, for example, the rotor. If the rotor speed is high, the noise maybe is high. So so they use the noise as a set channel to model the normal behavior and detect any anomalous behavior at runtime. We also do something related to the Alexa, so voice assistant. This is a quite a popular device nowadays. So we find some security and privacy issues in this Alexa platform. So this is we have several students working on this. This is our main focus, in this year. And we also do some data analysis work, for security, for privacy. So this is online hate and cyberbullying detection. We collect, the Twitter. We collect pictures over the internet, and we identify those, bad content. Basically, that contains online hate news or cyberbullying. Different from, this is also not a new topic, but different from existing work, we focus on, the visual, the picture, not pure text. And in the future, we will investigate the short video. So short video becomes more and more popular. So we want to capture the content, understand the semantic meaning behind the video, behind the picture, to identify the cyberbullying or online hate news. We also do something related to the wireless signal attack. For example, there's a smartphone, some IoT devices, they wirelessly communicate with the gateway, smart home gateway, and we use other like Wi-Fi sender. We can use Wi-Fi sender to control the Zigbee receiver. So this is called a cross technology communication. So we use a cross technology communication technique to launch different attacks. So this is basically my ongoing work at Clemson. Definitely, I believe some of them can be applied to automotive domain. So next, I will briefly talk about security in automotive cyber CPS. So why the first thing is why automotive? Why a car can be considered as a CPS? This is because in modern cars, definitely you are the expert in automotive. In modern cars, there are many sensors, many actuators, and also many controllers, many different controllers in your car. So definitely, naturally, a car can be considered as a CPS. And there exists several physical interactions. For example, the ACC, adaptive cruise control, FCW, RDW, PM, all those are the several physical control logic in a car. There are numerous. And I read some news talking about the number of ECUs in modern car. So it says at least 50, more than 50 control units in a modern car. And not mentioning the self-driving car, this kind of car, autonomous vehicle, highly rely on sensors to make critical driving decision. So later we will talk about some attack against the self-driving cars. So however, with increasing number of ECU and wireless communication technology, integrated into a car, definitely, such integration is bringing some convenience, bringing some intelligence, safety, however, they also bring some security concerns. So the attack surface for a vehicle becomes larger and diverse. So it's very vulnerable. It's very vulnerable to different attacks in different layers. So this figure shows surprisingly, shows the software size, the code size in a modern car. So it shows that the code size is even larger, larger than Facebook system. Facebook is so complicated. The Windows operating system, Windows OS. A car. The code size in a car is even larger than those big systems. It's too large to be believed. I'm surprised to get this statistics. So the better thing is that there are so many lines so many lines of code in a car. So the better thing is that anything is possible in software. Software is written by software developers. We cannot guarantee there's no bug in the software. So anything is possible in software. So there must be some vulnerability, some bugs in the software. And in a car, the code size is so big, so large, so we cannot guarantee there's no vulnerability. That's why it's not surprising. It's not surprising to hear those news, those security news, high-profile security news. Like Miller, use a Wi-Fi open port to intrude in vehicle network, IEEE of Jeep, and reprogram the firmware of the ECU, and they successfully control a wide range of automotive functions. For example, disable the brakes, stopping engines. This is pretty dangerous. And they trigger because of this security incident. Basically security report. They trigger a report of 1.4 million vehicles. Cause a big financial loss of the manufacturer. And in another case, a security research lab from China. It's called a Cheng research lab. They achieved the remote wireless access to and gain the complete control. Complete control over the Tesla. And Tesla, thereby promoting the Tesla to issue an emergency system update, basically to issue a new patch to upgrade the firmware in their car. So obviously, those are not hackers. They are we call them good faith security researchers or good faith hackers. So their job is to identify those new security vulnerabilities and then assist those manufacturers to improve their security. All right. So now let's talk about some research papers. Talking about security in automotive CPS. This paper, all those papers are, from top security conferences. In security domain, it's very competitive. It's not easy to publish a, top security conference paper. So this is from Oakland, IEEE, ICNP. This is a top one security conference. This paper was published, 9 years ago, and it's already got more than 1,000 citations. Look at this. The research question, the authors of this paper try to answer is, what an attacker could do to a car if she was able to maliciously communicate, on the car's internal network. So after reading this sentence, what's your question? Do you have any question about this? What's your, reaction? The direct reaction about this sentence. So what's your question, after reading this things? So this is our research problem. We want to answer this question.
They can do anything they want, right?
Yeah, I mean, so my question is, how come, they assume that, how come the attacker can maliciously communicate, to the car's internal network? So this is kind of their assumption. So here I want to, the reason I want to, emphasize this is because, in cybersecurity research, so, almost every research paper has a section called threat model. So threat model is not long, just a one or two paragraphs, but it's very important. When you read a security paper, the first thing is okay, read the threat model. I mean, threat model sometimes is also known as like a security model or security assumptions, many different names. But basically, in that section, they also define the scope of their their work. So either define, make some assumption about the capability of attackers or defenders, something like this. So in this paper, this is like their assumption, their threat model. So they assume the attacker is able to, communicate, maliciously communicate with the internal, networks in a car. So, definitely for the threat model, we need to justify our claim. So, they also justify like this. Someone, such as a mechanic, person who rents a car, an ex-friend or disgruntled family member, they may want to, hack your car. They may want to install some malware, malware, a malicious component into a car's internal network, while the ubiquitous, which is kind of true. Yeah, it may happen. This is a threat model. So whenever you read a security paper, first read the threat model to see, oh, it's completely unreasonable. So this is not a good paper. Yeah, if it's reasonable, if the assumption is reasonable, okay, yeah, it can be a good paper.
So this kind of attack is actually is very easy to attack.
Because this was the first work. Experimental security analysis of a modern car. Yeah, the assumption is kind of strong. They assume they can, access to the CAN, the CAN in the network. In a car, so they can inject any packet into the car. So they want to investigate, whether there are some security measures, already put in the car. Unfortunately, they find that okay, the CAN, for the CAN network, there exists many security weaknesses. There's no, even no authentication, no, basic encryption. Yeah. So they found a lot of problems. They can selectively, enable, disable brakes, stop engine, control light. They did the real world, testing. This is the first work. First experimental, security work on, talking about the, car attack. And the same author, published another paper in the next year, in 2011. So in this work, they talk about, the security analysis of automotive attack surface. So, in the previous work, they assume, the attack surface is just the direct, physical access to the internal work. And in this paper, they look at those external, interfaces. Basically, they make the attack more practical. They look at those indirect physical access, like the CD, like the Bluetooth, short-range wireless, cellular, Wi-Fi, and they found that there are many vulnerabilities in modern cars. This car, I remember they use at that time they use a very, very new model, so probably 2010 or 2009 car. They find many vulnerabilities. Very interesting. This one, they use a CD. There exists some buffer overflow, vulnerability in the CD, firmware. Basically the ECU that manage the CD player. So they can craft a malicious CD, the so-called WMA audio player, such that when burned onto a CD, plays perfectly on a PC. But when the CD is played on the car, so it triggers. It triggers some vulnerable, the buffer overflow. and then they can, send arbitrary CAN packets. Remember the CAN network has no security protection. So if the attacker can send arbitrary, packets, so that means the attacker can, control the car. So basically, stop the car, stop the engine, whatever. So this is pretty alarming. There's there's a lack of security in modern cars. Just this is an individual car. We will talk about the connected vehicle scenario. So now let's talk about the connected vehicle. This is a recent paper published last year in NDSS. NDSS is another security talk conference. So this paper talks about congestion attack in traffic signal control. This is all those works are based on real world experiments, based on the real system. So the CV connected vehicle technology, it definitely brings a lot of benefits in terms of mobility, safety, environment protection, and the public agency operation. It becomes, I also believe the CV technology will become a reality very soon. Will soon transform our transportation system today. So 3 years ago, US launched a CV pilot program. So they have some pilot study in multiple cities in US. So the idea is that install some like the OBU, the onboard unit on those cars. So those OBU can send signal to the road unit. And then there's some kind of a traffic signal controller, to receive those data and make runtime control decision. So basically, decide how long traffic light will take, something like that. So this is the idea of the background about this traffic signal control. It's already being deployed and in several cities in the US. And the authors of this paper, try to identify any security vulnerability in their system. So they found out the one type of attack called congestion attack. It's very easy. The idea is pretty simple. This is their threat model. Again, we first talk about the threat model. So they assume the malicious. There exists some malicious vehicles. They want to report inaccurate or spoofed location data to the controller. So for example, this is a malicious car. This is he's not honest. He reported spoofed location data. And so in the traffic signal control algorithm, the controller collect those location information from vehicles and estimate the queue. The queue length, estimate the queue length before in front of the red light, and then decide how long the red light and or the green light takes. So this is the idea of the traffic signal control. So they find that if the malicious vehicle report a fake location, so it can mislead the queue length estimation algorithm very easily. So they can cause a delay, waiting delay increased by like 20 to 15%. So this is straightforward, kind of a straightforward attack, but it comes from the real life. This is a real world attack, and they reported the vulnerability to US DOT and get a recognition from them. They use here. I like to mention their simulators. Probably you can also use the same setting to find other vulnerabilities in CV system. They use I don't know those. They use PTV vSim. They said, oh, that's great. Yeah, they said this is a commercial grade traffic simulator. They use without attack scenario, with attack, you see they cause like the traffic congestion, traffic jam. And they also mentioned that the US DOT has like 60 plus open source projects. So you can access to those source code. Then you can identify new security vulnerabilities probably. from their algorithms. So I believe this will be a very interesting topic because it comes from the real life. Yeah, this is another very interesting topic. I believe most of you already know this. Very hot research topic. Adversarial machine learning, adversarial deep learning. It's very easy to confuse our computer vision system.
Could we go back just? This is cool. Could we go back just one second? So I just want to comment, a general comment that there's been several movies that have showed how a system can be compromised in such a way where we have offsetting grains. So in other words, conflicting grains. Okay. So this is not that. This is we're changing the delay. So we're saying okay, we're spoofing where the vehicles are and we're changing the delay. However, the part about conflicting grains, right now, the way the systems are, is that the conflict monitor is totally separate from the control system.
Gotcha.
And the conflict monitor, it doesn't talk to the signal, it reads electric current. So if it has electric current to a green light bulb here, and electric current to a green light bulb here, and that's programmed as a conflict, then it'll go to flashing, automatically goes flashing. So in other words, you cannot, the way it is supposedly, there's no way to, through communication, create a conflict that would cause conflicting grains, is what I'm saying, because of the conflict monitors that have been in there since since the early 1980s. We've had conflict monitors in there because of this straight thing. And now we're going to solid state conflict monitors, which I'm a little more sketchy on, but it used to be hardwired. And so, in other words, if there's power through this wire and this wire, okay, boom, and so then it causes. But now it has solid state. And solid state, you might be able to do something, I'm assuming, to possibly create a bad situation.
That's right.
I'm sorry about that.
Thank you very much. Yeah, this is about the unmanned vehicle attack. All right, so now let's talk about the security solutions. So basically, there are two types of security solutions that can mitigate the security risk. So one is cryptographic solutions. For example, authentication. We can add this message authentication code in the CAN network. So we can easily identify this fake spoofed packet. And the second approach is kind of IDS, intrusion detection. So we can add a detector, an anomaly detector, like the traffic, the control system, traffic signal control system. We can add an anomaly detection module to detect any anomaly. There are many research survey papers talking about summarizing existing research work about the defense. Now I will briefly talk about the third part. My idea that probably can be added to automotive CPS as an anomaly detector. So basically, for anomaly detection, we need two phases. The first phase, called the learning phase or training phase. Basically, we learn a benign model, benign behavior model, whatever from different perspectives. For example, if I focus on the program behavior, behavior modeling, we collect the program behavior, collect the program execution traces, and construct a normal model of the program. Or we can collect the traffic data and construct a traffic model. So whatever, we need a learning phase, and at the runtime, we detect any deviation from the model. We already have a normal model in the learning phase. Any deviation we consider is an anomaly. So this is the idea of the anomaly detection or intrusion detection. So this is an abstract, basically abstract overview of the CPS. We have a controller like the ECU that takes sensor as input and makes control decision to change the physical parameters through those actuators. So the idea. The idea of my work is to check the consistency between the physical space and the cyberspace. When the controller making any control decision, so the physical event happened, and then trigger the control decision to change the physical parameter. So before the controller take any control decision, we check whether the event really happened or not, whether the physical event really happened or not. I mean, probably this is because there exists such a chance the attacker compromises the controller to inject a fake event. So the real world event, didn't happen, but from the perspective of a controller, it thought, oh, the event happened, I should make this decision. So this is basically pretty simple. And in the work, I defined different types in CPS, like the control branch attack. Like the attacker purposely triggers some control action or control intensity attack because in control code there exists such a like the for loop. The amount of the loop is dependent on like some physical event. So in this case, attacker can change, can manipulate the amount of the control intensity. So basically, I want to detect these two types of attacks, anomalies. This is basically the system overview. But if you understand the basic idea, it's straightforward. Basically, the idea is that we detect any mismatch between the physical space and cyber behavior. I mean the program behavior. So, to automate, I mean there exists some technical challenge. For example, given a control program, how to identify what kind of physical events are involved in the control program. So that means we first need to do the event identification to figure out what a physical event this program, this controller relies on. So it involves some code analysis from a software engineering domain. We can use some code analysis to analyze, to understand the internal structure of the code. So I will skip those technical details. It's all about code analysis. And then, I can use some existing program behavior model and augment those model with event awareness. So I identify basically what, execution path is dependent on physical event. So I call it event-driven or event-dependent, execution paths. So at runtime, whenever I observe the program execution, basically execute this path. So if this path is event dependent, so I do a checking, extra checking, to check whether the referred physical event really happened or not. So this is the basic idea. Well, there are many technical challenges. For example, how to check those events. And unfortunately, for CPS security research, it's not easy to find those real-world code. And I just use a Raspberry Pi. Probably we can apply those same idea to automotive or robot, those kind of things. And I just use conducted two case studies. Very simple one. One is the syringe pump. So we can still consider such a simple application as a CPS because it takes a sensor as input and make a control decision as a smart home heating system. And there are some limitations about this work. So one limitation is that it's not preventative. In CPS defense, we want to define design a preventative approach because this happens. We detect an anomaly after the attack happened. Already take effect. Then we detect an anomaly. So sometimes it's minutes. It's too late. So we want to. So this is ongoing work. So we want to design a preventative approach. To detect the anomalies. So in particular in this work, this is like an assumption threat model. So we focus on two types of attack. So the first one is adversarial event triggering attack. So attacker generate fake events and spoof to mislead the controller to make some incorrect control decision. And the second type of attack we call it the control command replacing attack. So even the controller send out the control signal, but attacker may be able to capture the control signal, replace the legitimate control signal with a malicious one, or just cancel it. So in this case, we also want to detect detect this kind of attack. The idea is pretty simple. The first to defend against the first attack, we check in the same as the first work. We check the consistency between the physical space, and the cyberspace. Whenever the controller takes any control decision, we check whether the physical event really happened or not. So in the second part, the similar thing. Whenever I mean, the controller send out a control signal. We will also do a checking, actual checking, to check whether the signal really takes effect or not. Really change the physical parameters or not. For example, in a smart home, we send a control signal to change the temperature. After that, we want to monitor whether the temperature really changed or not. So this is the basic idea. But to implement the system, a lot of technical challenges. For example, to do the security checking, how to guarantee the real-time constraint. Especially in automotive scenario, there exists some of the real-time constraint. The security checking introduces some latency. So this is so many other things. How to derive those security policies. So a lot of the technical challenges in this work. So the solution is very simple. We first use a static analysis technique to identify those, to locate those control action code, control action function. And right before the control action function, we inject some security checking code. And after the control action, we inject another security checking code. And at the runtime, we check the consistency between the physical space and the cyberspace. Yeah, that's the idea. And in this way, we do we can achieve the preventative anomaly detection because right before the activation, we have a chance to detect the anomaly. If an anomaly happens, we want to execute this function. This is from the software level. Yeah. We basically rewrite the control code automatically. I implemented this is the system overview. So this is an example of the coding instrumentation module. So given a binary, we can generate another binary. Basically, we inject some like the security checking modules in the binary. All right, so this concludes with my talk. So basically, I believe this idea can be applied to the automotive CPS. There are many sensors, actuators, controllers. We rewrite the controller and enhance the security. Yeah. All right, so thank you very much.
Any question to Dr. Chen's this talk?
Yeah.
So in terms of, thank you for your talk, and in terms of self-driving cars, what do you think, how feasible it is to create an adversarial attack in the control system?
Depends on what, you're talking about the physical attack, right? Change the stop sign.
It can be like, for changing the stop sign, it can be a physical world attack.
Yeah.
Or if someone, say for a malware or something, injecting some adversarial attack on a sensor system.
I see.
How feasible it is to create those threat model?
I think it depends on if we have a real world system, I believe we can, in some way we can find the vulnerability, of the real world system, and then it becomes practical. For example, I didn't include that paper. There's a very recent paper talk about the unmanned vehicle system. They use a real world like the computer vision system, and they can inject a malicious malicious attack. I think it is somewhat practical. Yeah. But for the stop signs, it's too obvious. Think about if the unmanned vehicle relies on some open source computer vision, deep learning algorithm. Probably the attacker can find some vulnerability in the algorithm, and as long as it's open source. As long as it has some exposure to the attacker. Yeah, attacker can understand the internal working of the system, the algorithm. Then they can find the vulnerability. It's very possible.
So you are referring that it's possible for white box attacks?
Yes, even white box. When people are talking about the deep learning white box attack, because those algorithms can be open source or can be standard. Yeah. It's very possible. From the perspective of our security researchers, we see that as long as there exists like a 1% possibility, we consider, this is a practical one. But we have different understanding about the security. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, please.
Yes.
Okay, let's go back to the This one?
You have data-oriented attack.
Oh, data-oriented attack. Data-oriented attack.
Yes.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, yes. So, this one, have you done any work on like creating the attack data set or creating the attack in real
Oh,
time?
we don't have a data side. This is about the memory corruption. It's a very specific type of attack. You know the buffer overflow?
Yes.
Yeah, that's great. So buffer overflow, basically attacker corrupts the memory space, at runtime. When we run a program, we basically the operating system load the program, load the binary code to the main memory. And at runtime, if there exists some vulnerability, attacker can, corrupt the memory space. So that's a buffer overflow attack. So this data-oriented attack is a specific type of the memory corruption attack. So basically, here the data means the attacker corrupt the local variable, corrupt the value of the local variable. For example, this step is a local variable. Attacker can, through the buffer overflow vulnerability, they change the value in the memory space at runtime. Yeah, this is we don't have a data set. This data is not the data in other domain. Data analytics in big data in machine learning. So this data is particularly about the memory space data. So we call it data because there is another type of attack, memory corruption. This attack is called a control attack, control flow hijacking. So the attacker injects some malicious code in the memory and make sure that for some reason they can change the program execution, jump to the malicious code. So that type of attack is called control flow hijacking attack. So this this is another type of attack. On the contrary, it's called a data-oriented attack. It doesn't change the control flow, but it changes the value of the local variables. So we call this kind of value as this kind of data as the data. So that's different.
One more question. So you showed that you're working with some real-world devices to model the CPS, like you showed.
Yes.
So have you generated any attack in those CPS or?
Yeah, I would say it's a poor example. I purposely leave some vulnerability in the code, in the control code, so remote attacker can send craft a malicious payload, send a message to for example, to the controller on Raspberry Pi to craft the data, the so-called in the memory. Yeah, this is not that practical, to CPS, because in CPS we really want to find the real world, CPS control code, but it's very difficult. CPS control code is safety critical. It's not easy to get a real world code unless we have some kind of a partnership with those manufacturers, or with you guys. Probably you have the real world code. Yeah, that's a point of today's talk. I'm looking for any collaboration opportunity with you.
I actually have a question about. Okay, so with regard to computer vision, and because it's such a challenge, to do training for all scenarios, using some sort of convolutional neural network or whatever, and like stop signs, sure, we'd see the stop signs, but the stop sign was to fall, and then, and when I come to an approach, I look at the other approach, I can see a stop sign there, but it's pointed in a different direction. And so, we don't really we wouldn't train computer vision to see a sign from the side so much. So I noticed that there's one there, and for me, so if there's no sign there, for example, then I'm like, okay, well maybe there's a stop sign there or something. How do we, because so if somebody just knocks down a stop sign, for example, it seems like a simple thing for them to do, but we're not spoofing any controls, we're just knocking down a stop sign, and now the system won't, how can we get around that?
Actually, we can add more intelligence, to the vehicle, like the GPS,
so basically what we're saying is, okay, so So there's going to be something in the stop sign that says
Yeah.
that there's infrastructure there. It might be
Right,
underground. So as long as we don't steal it, then,
Yeah.
and so
Yeah, I mean, a
it's
lot of
it's-
approaches.
I guess my thing goes back to, because you have to train for all scenarios.
Yes.
It's very, very difficult. Because right now, for example, we do vehicle analytics through camera vision.
Yeah.
And count cars and stuff like that.
Yeah,
It works great on one scenario.
Right.
But then we move it to something else that has, and if
Yeah.
you're doing it, all of a sudden it's awful. And,
Right.
and so to train in such a way that we
Yeah.
can catch every little thing is just such a challenge.
Right, yeah. One simple solution is to add, more like information sources, like, if a car is location aware.
And redundancy.
Yeah, redundancy. Yes, yes. So a lot
And I
of
just want to make
solutions.
one more comment about, I think like with cars, it wasn't thought of that this is going to be a threat at one time. See, like GPS. GPS came out in the early 1980s, okay? And it was for military purposes. So from day one, and the reason why we have GPS is because it was sold to Congress that we need to know where our nuclear subs are. So when we fire off missiles, we need to know exactly where they are and where we're going to shoot, okay? And if we don't, we might miss, right? And that was the reason all behind that. We use it for many, many applications, but that's why we have it. But from day one, they knew that there could be a threat of spoofing our GPS in such a way that we can think it's make it think it's someplace else, right? And we can send missiles elsewhere. And so there's been anti-spoofing from day one because it was thought of from the beginning. With our car systems and our General Motors has their OnStar where you can find out they can call and stop your car, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But in terms of security of people, I don't think it was thought of too much in the beginning that folks are going to spoof this thing. And so now we're at that state where we have to, and it needs to be regulated. Is that a correct statement?
I think yes.
And also they call it security by design. When they design the system from
Exactly.
the say
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
security.
Right. Yes.
Anyway, it's really interesting.